been running this program for about 16 or 17 years because we want our graduates to come back and share their story about their college admissions process, a lot of the decisions that went into deciding on the colleges and universities that they're currently attending, and then to talk about their first semester experience and how well they were prepared, maybe not prepared, maybe things they would have done differently, and some things that they're going to recommend for you to do. And we find that this program is very, very valuable to our students because sometimes waiting till your junior year is not the optimal time to start thinking about your post-secondary career. Remember, I shared with you that when you step into this building, you're developing a transcript, a permanent transcript that really tells a story of what you like, what you're strong at, what you need to improve at, and you use that entire journey of self-discovery to make some pretty important decisions. So without further ado, it gives me a great deal of pleasure to introduce the class of 2018, and we're going to start right here in the front row on my left. They're going to introduce themselves, the college that they're attending, and then the career pathway or area of concentration that they've selected. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Brandon. I'm going to the Rutgers University, and I'm majoring in pharmacy.
Okay, loud and clear. Make sure we're shouting it out.
Hi, I'm Rish. I'm going to Princeton University for aerospace engineering.
Hi, I'm Zach. I'm going to the College of New Jersey, and my major is computer science.
Hi, I'm Crystal, and I'm going to the County College of Morris, and I'm majoring in nursing.
I'm Bella. I go to Johns Hopkins University, majoring in biomedical engineering.
Hi, I'm Vinny. I go to Rutgers University. I major in public policy, but nobody knows what that is, so political science.
Hi, I'm Sophia Lake. I go to Rutgers University. I'm majoring in astrophysics and computer science with a minor in French.
Hi, I'm Andrea. I go to CCM, and my major is English and secondary education.
Hi, I'm Carl. I go to Oberlin College of Arts and Sciences, and I am an undeclared major in mathematics and music composition.
Hi, I'm Brittany. I go to Stevens Institute of Technology, and I'm majoring in chemical engineering, and I'm getting my master's in materials engineering.
Hi, my name is Rihanna. I go to Long Island University Post, and I'm majoring in business.
Hi, my name is Gina. I go to Monmouth University, and I'm planning on being a chem major.
Okay. Go ahead. We'll come back down. Go ahead, Annalie.
Hi, I'm Annalie Smith. I go to Susquehanna University, and I'm a bio major.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I go to the University of New Haven, and I'm a business management major.
Hi, I'm Liam. I go to the College of the Holy Cross, and I plan on studying economics.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I go to Quinnipiac University. I'm a double major in history and theater with a master's concentration in secondary education.
Hi, I'm Alyssa. I go to the County College of Morris, and I'm majoring in psychology.
Hi, I'm Jess. I go to Syracuse University, and I'm majoring in biochemistry.
Hi, I'm Sam, and I go to Rutgers University with a pre-vet major and a double major in bio.
Hi, I'm Olivia. I go to Princeton University, and I'm planning on studying neuroscience.
Hi, I'm Delphina. I'm going to American University, and I'm studying business and sustainability.
Hi, I'm Sharita. I go to Emory University, and I'm studying philosophy, politics, and law.
Hi, I'm Jenna. I go to George Washington University, and I'm studying biology.
Hi, I'm Grace. I go to the University of Maryland, and I'm studying bio on a pre-med track.
Hey everyone, I'm Charlie. I go to County College of Morris, and I'm undecided.
Hi, I'm Luke. I go to Tulane University in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I am a psych major.
Hi, I'm Gabby. I go to San Diego State University, and I'm undeclared.
I'm Liam. I go to Boston College, and I'm a poli-sci major.
Hi, I'm Juliana. I go to Syracuse, and I'm a business major.
I'm Jared. I go to Seton Hall University, and I double major in physics and engineering.
Hey, I'm Garrison. I go to the University of Maryland, and I'm majoring in mechanical engineering.
Okay, is that everybody? How about another round of applause for this great group of alumni from Mount Olive? All right, absolutely terrific, and thank you again for joining us. So we're going to start off with our first question. Okay, first question. We're going to get multiple responses to about 6 or 7 different questions that we've identified over the years to be very pressing questions as it pertains to the college admissions process and the first semester experience. So first question, we're looking for a volunteer. When should students begin considering formulating their game plan for their future and their post-secondary endeavors? And when did you start? Who would like to take that question on first? When should you start?
I would recommend your sophomore year, but begin thinking about it as early as your freshman year. Like, I started looking at colleges and what major I wanted to do my sophomore year, and if you don't know by that time, it's perfectly okay. Like, I didn't decide that I was going to be a computer science major till my senior year, but just like have an idea of what you want to do. Like, I knew from the beginning I wanted to go into a STEM field, and so just like think about where you want to study and where you would want to be, and it's okay if you don't have an idea yet. Just like begin formulating that game plan by your sophomore year so that your junior and senior year you can take a more specific focus into like what colleges you want to go to and what major you want to study.
Thank you. Great response. Carl, go ahead.
So another thing that I would definitely say, don't think as much about fixing what you know you want to do unless you really know that you want to do it. Because what you may think, say, in your freshman year, even junior year, you could be fixed. You know what you want to do, and by senior year, you could have completely changed what you want. But as long as you can get a general idea, don't focus on deciding, oh, I want to major in this, I want to study that first. Figure out generally what you're interested in, and then look for colleges that might cater to that first. And you want to start that as early as possible, because otherwise, usually, at least for me, the hard part was finding colleges that were then tailored to what I was interested in, because, as I said before, music, math, not a lot of colleges that I was looking at first had both of those very strongly. So you want to get an idea of what's available before you start fixing what option you want to pick, or you might pick something that isn't actually an option.
Okay, great advice. Very good.
So not only like focusing on what you want to study or your major, I think the culture of the school is very important as well, and that was something that was important to me. Like when I was looking for colleges, I also started my sophomore year, and I knew what I wanted to major in, but when I was looking at schools, like if there was something about the educational culture there that I didn't like, or like the social culture that I didn't like, then I ruled them out. And that was a helpful factor for me in determining like where I wanted to go, like more than just my major or what I was studying.
Somebody else? Great answer. Somebody else? Some other pieces of advice. Go ahead.
Okay, so I started looking at colleges when I was a freshman, but I didn't really start visiting until I was a junior in high school. And I think a big portion of what you should be doing when you're looking for a college is figuring out in general what kind of field you want to go to and looking at colleges that are well known for that field. And then once you get to like start visiting the colleges, visiting the different departments in that field so you can kind of narrow down what you want and what college would be best for the field you want to go into.
Somebody else? Anyone? You sure? Go ahead. Oh, you have your... Go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. You want to go? So, everyone's been saying they've been like starting freshman year. All you freshmen out there that are scared, I didn't start till like my senior year, so you're all gonna be fine. Like, you really just need to find a place that you're gonna be happy at, because most people wind up changing their majors anyway. Like, there's a crazy statistic. It's like 60% of people change their major. So like, try to focus on where you're going to be most happy rather than like what field you're going to and which school is like best for that, because y'all are going to change your majors. I know that. So,
Hannah, please.
Is this on? Okay, when you're looking at schools, I would definitely, if you don't know what you want to major in yet, like if you're a junior or a senior or like a sophomore or whatever, I would just look at a bunch of schools that have a lot of majors and a lot of different like good programs, because you'll probably end up switching your major. I know I did. I bet a lot of people over here switched their major already, and like a lot of people do switch it like 4 or 5 times. So just go to a place that you know that has a lot of options and like good options, so you'll find something that you'll like there.
Sophia?
My advice is basically the same as Annalise. Like, if you aren't sure if you're at least a little bit unsure of your major, I recommend a bigger school because they're going to have a lot more options that are probably a lot better. So, yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
So I really didn't start looking until my junior year. And I turned out perfectly okay for all of you who like freaking out as freshmen or sophomores. But something I really recommend is going on college tours. Like, I had no idea where I wanted to go, so I toured a big school, a medium school, a small school, a city school, a school in the middle of nowhere. And like, it really helped me decide. So that's something, like, if you actually go to the place, then it could really help you figure out where you want to be.
Let me just go ahead.
I also think it's important that you do the research yourself and not let your parents like do it for you, because you're the one that's ultimately going to college. So if you let your parents like do the research about what colleges you like that have your major, then there's less of a chance that you'll like it as much.
So what resources did you use? As you were going through developing your game plan, and we talked about some great advice here so far, what resources did you use, or what resources helped you with this phase in looking at schools that may fit the profile of the majors or areas of concentrations that you were considering? What resources? Anybody remember? Go ahead, Grace.
Looking back, I used Naviance a lot, thinking about that, and it's helpful to get a really general idea of the school you're going to, but I wouldn't dwell on the numbers in Naviance and like what it says, admission statistics. Like, don't pay attention to that as much as like if you think the school is a good fit for you. Like, don't knock out a school before you visit it if it seems like a good fit. Like, don't just depend on online tools is also what I want to say.
Yep. Very good.
Also talk to your peers and like your older siblings, if you have any, or like any cousins, because like they are going through that same thing with you. So like they're gonna help you in what you're deciding. Like if you want to go to school with some of your friends, like that's gonna be a factor. Or if you don't want to see anyone, like that's gonna be a factor too. So like definitely like look around and see what other people think about that school, because if no one's happy there, like you might not be happy there.
Okay, Sophia?
I also, when I was starting to look at them, which I'm also like the people who didn't start till junior or senior year, but I watched a lot of YouTube videos because people post their experiences at the schools, how they feel about them, often give you the details that aren't so good about the schools that no one really publishes on the internet that you might want to know about. So yeah.
So in my case, I knew that I wanted to be a teacher from maybe junior year. So I talked to a lot of my teachers, and especially the ones that I looked up to, and that really helped a lot. They gave me a lot of advice, so I definitely recommend that.
Great. Carl?
So going back to the talking to your peers, that sort of thing, I will admit I never really figured out how to use Naviance, but I got a lot of information sort of just by word of mouth. Talk to not just peers, but also adults that you know who have been through the college experience. What do they know? What have they seen in, oh, I've heard this college has this and that college has that. You don't always need to do all your research online. And I also just wanted to reiterate Delphina's comment about go on tours, because you can get one impression of a college from a website or from hearing about it. When you actually go on the tour, it is incredibly different. The college Oberlin, where I'm going now, was originally the last college on my list. And through some cosmic logic, it was also the only one I got into, and it turned out to be the best fit out of all of them once I actually visited. So don't just take what you see at a distance for granted. You should actually take a look at the school for yourself if you're interested.
That's great advice. Go ahead, right here.
I remember knowing that I really enjoyed nursing. That was after a tour that I had done when I was a lot younger, but I went into a nursing lab and I loved the whole environment. I enjoyed the whole experience. But something I did all of high school was any nurse I met, I have a lot of nurses in my family too, and any nurse I met, especially in county, Morristown Hospital and Hackettstown and all the other ones, I would ask them where they went. And a lot of them would tell me different places, but there was a general consensus, and I just definitely used that in my process to decide.
Great. Rish?
Oh, you want to go first, Rish?
So I started out like my process looking at engineering schools because originally I wanted to do mechanical engineering, and so I went off the reputation. But like, you don't necessarily need to believe the rankings. Like my school that I go to right now is more known for like its education and business program, and so I threw it to the side at first, and I was like, oh, I got in here, like, it's just kind of an computer science program. And, like, the rankings weren't the best out of any school I got into, but, like, it really ended up impressing me. Like, definitely, I'm going to reiterate what everyone said. Take a tour of the school, because I was really impressed when I went back there for my open, like, admitted students day. So, like, don't necessarily believe what the rankings tell you because they're not necessarily accurate.
Okay, great. Great advice.
I think it's really helpful to talk to someone who goes to the school, and that's obviously easier when you take a tour. But if you can't take a tour, there's still a way. There are like local info sessions and other ways to connect to those students. And I think that's really helpful because you get a sense of the culture there. I know when I was talking to students from a bigger school like Michigan, they'd get really excited about like the football culture, things like that, whereas at a smaller private school, they have smaller traditions. So just by talking to students, you get a better idea of what your fit is.
Okay, great. Right here.
I'd also like to reiterate that you shouldn't just go like where your friends are going or go just because you think you'll be happy there. Like, I was dead set on going to the University of Pittsburgh. I was going to go with my best friend. I was really excited. And then I went to Stevens, and I didn't really want to go to Stevens because that's where my parents went. I just didn't want to be too close to home, and I ended up falling in love with the campus and with the people there because I went on an admitted students day, and I was with all the freshmen I was going to be at school with, and I fell in love with it. So you shouldn't just go where you think other people would want you at.
Great. So let's move on to another part of that question. What was the deciding factor for you to decide on the college or university that you're currently attending? You know, was it the size of the school? Was it the social life? Was it the programming? Was it your major? What are we looking at? What determined, cost? What were some of the factors? Go ahead.
So I kind of knew I wanted like a school that had some like flexibility with like majors and things like that, but I didn't really want a huge school. And when I went to Syracuse, I just kind of fell in love with like the campus is like beautiful, and like everyone there just like you can see how much they love it. Like definitely tour when there are students there, because like when I was like walking around, people were like yelling at you like go here, it's really fun. Like you can just tell when people are happy there, and that's what made me want to go there, because it just seemed like everyone I've talked to that went there had such a good experience.
Great. Go ahead, Bella.
So mine was definitely the educational culture. When I visited Hopkins, they had talked about this academic freedom that they promoted, and like you can basically do anything there with like double majoring and minoring. Like there are people who are double majoring in completely two different things, and I really liked that idea that like I could create my own education with all the different classes I took, just the way that they distribute the credits there. So that was something that was really important to me.
Excellent point. Sophia?
I have to say the decision for me was like a very difficult one. I was choosing between two schools in the end, Boston University and Rutgers, and I had already pretty much decided Boston University was where I wanted to go. But then I went on accepted students day for both schools, and Rutgers actually blew Boston University out of the water for me, just because it had the big school aspect where you can go to games and stuff. Like, I know we lose a lot of them, but it's still fun. but yeah, and on top of that, my major is a very specific one, and both schools had the major, but Boston University had a much smaller major in that, if that makes sense, while Rutgers had a lot of resources, professors that were interested in all parts of astrophysics, because it's a huge thing. And on top of that, it's just when you go there after being accepted, you kind of just know, like, people have the same attitude as you at certain schools, and you like that, and yeah.
Okay, great. Go ahead, in the back.
So I had it narrowed down between two schools. They had very similar programs. They had similar like activities. and I was sitting there like the day before decision day, and I was like, I don't even know which one I'm going to choose. I don't know which one I want to go to more. I visited them both, and they both had a lot to offer. And at the end of the day, my dad said, and it's like, okay, imagine yourself after decision day, you're posting on all the social media, which school are you more proud to go to? And that was what was the deciding factor for me, is that, you know, both the schools had a lot to offer, but which one could I see myself happier at? And that was University of Maryland for me, and that's really what pushed me to go here.
Great advice. Vinny, go ahead.
Well, there's like a lot of factors that contribute to like where you're going to go to university or wherever you're going to go to college. But I'm pretty sure like a lot of people will tell you in like the end, when it comes down to the nitty gritty, they'll tell you that it was money. Like I'll be straight up with you, it was money for me. Like I thought like if I went to this school and I paid this much, would it be equivalent to the education I got at this school when I paid this much? And at the end of the day, Rutgers, I couldn't, like, no one could top Rutgers' price. I go there for like a very little amount of money, and it's a good school. Like, you're there to receive an education. You're not there, like, you're also going to get an experience in college, and like you're going to mature as a person and be more individual. But every college is going to give you that experience, and it depends on whether or not that college fits who you are as a person. And if you feel like you can't decide between these two schools, like, it can come down to something as simple as money. I go to Rutgers, and like my friends, it's like I would say like 50% of them go to Rutgers because of money. They say like, and it's not like something you should look down upon. It's like, do you want I really did not want to go to college and leave with debt, and that's like that scared me because
great advice.
Like when I think about debt, I think about like not starting my life until it's over. So, you know, like, I mean, just like that was my decision, like money. It was basically that.
Great, Vin, good job.
For me, it was my, yeah? Okay, sorry. For me, it was my major and what they had to offer at Rutgers, because it's hard to find like a pre-vet major with a good like animal science program that'll help you like get hands-on experience, because there's a lot of schools where you don't even start hands-on experience till like your junior year, and then that's half your college like experience over already. So you want to start as soon as you can. And then there's also a lot of schools that like I was between two schools as well, and like Vinny said, price, because I have 8 years of school. If you have 8 years of school, it's a lot to think about, because how much debt do you really want to be in? You'll be paying it off your entire life almost. And then also like what they have to offer, like the other school that I was looking into didn't even have like internships already set up for you, and Rutgers did. They're there for you, and they have so much to offer, especially like outside of school. Like they could help you get internships and hours towards your experience and the most hands-on experience you could get.
Great. Go ahead, Alyssa. Yep, Alyssa.
Okay, so I didn't start at CCM, but I'm so glad that I ended up there, because like I know CCM has a stigma like in high school, because I heard it was like, oh, you know, only people who can't get into other places go to CCM. But like I was part of the STARS program here, which means that you can go to, like, if you're in the top like 15%, is it? You can go to CCM for like virtually free. And like Vinny said, money is a real thing. Like college tuition is a big deal. And I was about to go to a different university and be like hundred thousands of dollars in debt. And honestly, CCM, like I'm a homebody, and like I love it. Like I love Mount Olive. I love going home and sleeping in my own bed, but you still get like the same experience you would at other college. Like you have big classes and lecture halls, and like even if you want to play a sport there, like I play softball there, and it's everything like I could have wanted in a college, and I get to sleep in my own bed at night. So it's like the best of both worlds for me. So don't be afraid to like go there because you think, oh, only like dumb people go there. But it's not like that at all. Like it's still challenging, and if you go there, like they're gonna put up a challenge for you. So yeah.
I just want to piggyback on that. Really, each year we have about 100 students go to CCM, from everywhere in our top decile all the way through, for various reasons, whether it's cost, getting a fresh start, getting some courses under your belt so that you can transfer and get right into your major. It's a great institution. So I also wanted to concur with what Alyssa said, is that there shouldn't be a stigma to that, because it's a great starting place. And we've had students go on and with exceptional academic performance here, CCM, and then on to another 4-year school after they transfer. So it's really a solid option, solid option. Go ahead, Sharita.
My deciding factor was location because
Good
I
point.
lived in New Jersey my whole entire life, so I really wanted to like change it up, and so now I go to school in Georgia, and I actually really love it there, and it's a lot slower, and everyone's nicer. But if you want to just like get away for a little bit, I think going somewhere away for college is a really good choice. And yes, it's hard being away from home, but like you have FaceTime, so you're fine.
Great. Charlie?
All right, yeah, so the CCM thing, I'm just going to, as a current Titan, I'm going to continue off that. So there's a few things that factored into me deciding to go to CCM. First things first, I didn't get into a lot of colleges that I would have liked to have gotten into, or like I wasn't happy with the ones I did get into. So I figured I'm not sure what I want to do yet, so I'll just go to CCM, not have a major, not know what I want to do, so I'll just get some classes out of the way, gen eds, blah, blah, blah. But also a good part about CCM is I have a part-time job. I'm making money while also saving money while going to a cheaper college, so it's really helpful. Do I want to have the other college experience of going away and other stuff? Yeah, but so I plan on applying to different colleges, whether it be next spring or this spring for next semester. And yeah, CCM is just a great starting spot. It's cheap, you save money, and yeah.
All right, thank you, Charlie. Sarah?
Yeah, for me, it was definitely also about money, but it's the opportunity it gives you. I was lucky to get into multiple like theater programs, so I had to decide where I liked it. But at the end of the day, Quinnipiac was just the best decision for me because not only I was going to enter as a sophomore with the credit here, which is why AP classes are wonderful, but it was also I was able to do both history and theater. I was going to be able to work in education, but I could still do the things I wanted to. I could still be involved in sports, like I do stats for our D1 program, which I love. And even though that's not my major, I still have the opportunity to do that. I lived with somebody who I went to high school with, but I also met new people, and I just thought that being there was like the best option for me.
Great advice. Go ahead in the back. Go ahead.
Okay. Money is a big thing. I understand that, but if you have the opportunity to like get away, this is your only not your only option, but it's 4 years where you can like go and do your own thing. Like, don't restrain yourself if you're like a homebody, because I was so scared to go away, but then the homesickness goes away in like a week or two. Like, I'm fine now. At first I was like, Mom, I want to come home. Like, don't let me do this. I was like crying and stuff, and she was like, you need to stay. And I'm glad that she made me stay because it's the best experience of my whole life. So if you can go far, then go as far as you can.
Okay, we're going to move on to another question. What or who influenced the area of concentration that you're pursuing? What or who influenced the area of concentration that you're pursuing?
Okay, so from when I was younger, I just like, I don't know, I knew I wanted to do science. I just like fell in love with it. I had my little microscope. I was a big fan of science, but I was kind of scared because like, I was like, do I really want to like do a really challenging thing? And I was like, I'll just be a teacher. That's all I want to do. Like, I was like, I'm like, not that like, I still like part of me would like love that, but like, I was like, I just want to challenge myself. And I think a lot of like the teachers here, like especially my science teachers, encouraged me. They're like, if you want to like possibly do something bigger, like try something harder. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that, but I feel like a lot of it's just like believing in yourself. And that's why my major is so general, because I didn't want to like get stuck on it. That way, if I do want to end up teaching, I can do that. And if I do end up wanting to go to med school, I can do that. So it's just the flexibility of my major with like going into a STEM career.
Okay, Vin?
So I don't know, most of you are freshmen, right? Like I don't know, like half of you, whatever. So it was actually the teachers here that like persuaded me to do public policy and political science. And believe it or not, it was Ronan Cotter himself. Swear to God. Yeah, we love Ron. We love good old Ron. But I swear, it was him. By the way, I've never had Mr. Cotter as a teacher. Never. But I was in his debate club, and debate sounds nerdy, but not even a chance. No, it's fun, and I recommend you guys join. But just like the way he talked about like what he was doing in debate, like we were talking about policy, and that's my major now. And like it was just fascinating to me, and like the way he talked about it, the way like he explained it to me, and like just it was just like seemed like a world to explore, and I really liked that. And it was not only Ronan, but he played a big part. It was like other teachers like Profe Parag or like if anybody has Mrs. Craig right now, what a woman. But like, they're all just like such nice people, and like they instilled in my attitude, like just wanting to help people, and that's exactly what my major attempts to do. It tries to help the community, tries to help society, and like it was really the teachers at this school and throughout, not even at this school, like even in the middle school, Miss Schutz, if anybody remembers her, or Miss Cogger, but I think that's after your time. I don't know, but it was the teachers in Mount Olive School District that really helped me out.
Very good. Thank you, Vin. Carl?
So first, Vinny, what the heck is wrong with nerdy? But, so, in all seriousness, I feel like a lot of people start choosing their majors because, oh, I want to do this because this is what I'm good at. Don't do that. That's a bad idea. You don't want to do something just because you're good at it. Because, now, to be fair, I am probably best in the areas where I am in music and math, where I am planning to major. But that's not what made me decide to do that. There are other things I considered. There were other things I was interested in. I only chose to do them because those were the things that I consistently had fun doing. Those were the sorts of classes where the homework was something that I actually didn't want to procrastinate on until the night before it was due. And so you shouldn't choose something just because you're good at it, or, oh, this is going to make me the most money in the future. Maybe that can be helpful, but is that really what you want to do? This is going to sound like a corny line, but it's true. If you're doing something that you enjoy, then for your job or whatever you may be doing, then it's not work anymore. It becomes fun. Yes. And that's what you should let be the deciding factor in what you want to do. If you're not good at it, it doesn't matter. You could learn new skills. You'll get to be a more versatile person. You'll learn something you may not have been good at. It's still worth it. As long as you're interested in it, that's what will make you be willing to go the extra mile and become better at it.
Thanks, Carl. Jared?
I tell this story to everyone, but what got me interested in physics was watching the movie Interstellar with Matthew McConaughey. And when you major in something, you want to be passionate about it, and I always found myself researching stuff, reading books about it, and I couldn't get enough of it. And so it goes to show, like, little things like that, stuff that, like, triggers you or whatever, shows what you're really interested in. Also, like, what your parents do. You have a lot of opportunities to see what they do. So I know my dad was an engineer, so I dove into that, and I found, like, a new hidden talent I found.
Great. Grace?
This is really important for you freshmen out there. I would really recommend trying a lot of new things while you're in high school, and like there's no risk. So you could do whatever you want. I didn't even join until sophomore year. I did DECA, and I loved like hanging out with my friends. I loved doing the whole professional thing, but when it came down to it, the business stuff we were doing, I hated it. I didn't have a mind for it. I was like, this is not what I want to do with my life. And I think that was important for me to see. Mm-hmm. Like, you need to find out also what you don't want to do with your life. And high school is also a really good place to do that and see, like, what you're not passionate about.
Yep, exactly.
Kind of going off of that, I know, like, you guys here joking around, like, that Mount Olive's turning into a college. That's actually, like, a really good thing. Take all the classes that you can, like, you know, if you don't know what you want to do, we have lots of STEM classes, we have art classes, we have business classes, and we kind of go across the entire field of, you know, you can do anything here. And now is the perfect time to start figuring out where you want to go, what you're interested in, because, you know, in college, like, if you decide to change, like your sophomore year or your junior year, then you're going to have to retake classes, and you're going to have to, you know, try to do things over the summer to make up for that. Right now, you don't have that risk associated, so take the opportunity and take advantage of all the resources you have here.
Thank you. That's absolutely terrific advice. Olivia?
I agree that in high school you should try new things, but also don't be afraid to try new things in college too. Like, When I left high school, I really didn't know what I wanted to study. Like, I was thinking something in the sciences, but I wasn't sure. And so in the fall semester, I enrolled in a neuroscience class, and I loved it. Like, I loved my professor, I loved the material, and now I'm thinking about studying it. And I'm just really glad that I didn't like limit myself to what I was comfortable with, because then I never would have taken the neuroscience class, and I wouldn't have the major that I have right now.
Terrific advice. One more here. Go ahead.
So I knew I wanted to be do something in the STEM field, but actually it was clubs that helped me make the decision. So I was on the robotics team for 4 years, and I was on mechanical for a bunch of years, and I knew that that was what I wanted to go into at first. And then I realized oh, I'm going to be in a shop for a long time. Do I really want to do this for the rest of my life? After receiving that hands-on exposure, I realized that's not what I wanted to do. And what interested me in computer science was actually Mr. Grossi's programming class. I took it as just a side class, and I was like, you know what, let's just see how it is. And I absolutely loved it. It was just fun to try each of the projects and to creatively design solutions. As someone who isn't good at a subject like math, it felt good to be doing something STEM that challenged me, that allowed me to use my creativity in a way that didn't feel limiting using so much math. And in that way, it was really an easy decision for me to choose computer science.
Excellent. Next question. What study skills or habits did you find to be the most important? Go ahead, Alyssa. What study skills or habits?
So I took APUSH and AP Euro, and probably the number one thing that I do in college now is I outline everything. You get your textbook, and they tell you to read the chapter, but you gotta read and you gotta take notes if you want to do well. And Grizz, he made us do chapter outline quizzes all the time, and if you read your book, you'll be fine in your class. I outline everything, and it's you go to class and you're ready, and you're just relearning what you already read, and it really helps take it in better.
Excellent advice. Sophia?
I know that a lot of the freshmen wouldn't have had these teachers yet, but if anyone here has had Mr. Casperine, just know it sucks when you're getting the bad grades in his class for being dumb with your writing, but that man has saved my life in college. Whenever your English teachers say, don't use fluff or do this, and they're really hard on you, it's for a reason. I have so many friends that are failing easy English classes in college because they don't know how to write. And in this school, I don't know what it is, but the teachers actually teach you college level writing. So I went in totally fine.
That's great. Great advice. Go ahead.
One other thing that I would say, it's a lot about self-discipline. So, your teachers, they'll be like, hey, you handed an assignment, or you haven't handed this assignment in yet, then hand it in. If you hand it in late by tomorrow, then I'll give you, the full credit still. Or they'll be more lenient with you in that way. And in college, you have a professor who's teaching, sometimes up to 150 other kids. And then if you don't hand in the homework, then he's not going to realize it. So that's something that you really need to be aware of, I guess, as you go through and you're doing the homework. Make sure that you're staying on top of things, even if not saying that you're going to forget the assignments or anything, but make sure that you allocate enough time. I have a big project that's due on Thursday. Let's try to start it before Wednesday. Let's try to do it, earlier on the week, especially on the weekend when you aren't doing things, and try to get that stuff done. Be more proactive about it.
Great advice. Sarah?
Yeah, I want to focus on that too, self-discipline, because for Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, I only had class for 2 hours, and it was from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., and I would go back to bed, and I would wake up at 1, it'd be great. But I knew that for every single time I would do that, I'd be coming in with essays, though. And so in college, you're going to have a lot less classes, and you might not be there for as much time as you are in high school, but don't let that fool you, because the amount of work you're going to do is going to be completely different than what you're used to doing in high school. For my English class, I had to come in with an essay every single class, or a journal, and it had to be minimum of 3 pages. And that sounds easy, but you are devoting so much time to this, and I think it's really important to get things done on time and to make sure you have it done, because yes, there's time to sleep and have fun with your friends and go out and whatever, but I think it's also really important to prioritize the fact that you have really important work to do.
Thank you. Carl? then Gina.
So, I cannot emphasize this enough. Do not procrastinate.
Yes. Good
Ever.
point.
You will regret it. Because, as Sarah just said, the workload is very different. The biggest difference, I think, that you're going to see is you have a lot more freedom. Your parents are not there hovering over you. Your teachers are not going to call up your parents and say they're not in school if you don't go to class, especially if you're going to school in another state. Your parents aren't going to do anything. The teachers probably won't notice or care, but it's sort of a risk-reward thing. You have your own time to structure how you want. Structure it in a way that you're going to get your work done. Now, I learned that lesson the hard way senior year in high school, and it took me a heck of a long time to catch up. You do not want to do that in college. Because I learned that lesson, I get everything done ahead of time. I am 2 weeks ahead. And all of the people I know at college hate me for it because they are dying under the weight of papers that are due the next day repeatedly.
Right.
You don't want to be that side of it, on that side of it. You want to be the person who everybody envies because you're actually ahead on your work and you have time to yourself. It's a lot less stressful, and it may feel like putting it off is letting you get more stuff done that you want to do. It won't in the long run, because if you're more stressed about it and you do it last minute, it's going to take you a longer amount of time to do it in the long run, and you'll end up having less time to yourself than you did.
Thank you, Carl. Gina, last one here, and then I have one last question. Go ahead.
So if you're like one of the people in high school that like doesn't, like I didn't really do homework in high school, I still like was able to get by and things like that, but like when you go to college, like you can't do that. Like you have to like really grind out your work. So like a study habit that like really helps me is like getting yourself to focus for like short periods of time, but really like getting it done. Because like for lacrosse, we have to do 5 hours minimum like in study hall each week. So like I go in there and like I get my stuff done in 5 hours like sporadically throughout the week. But then some of my friends, they end up being in there for like 10 hours because they're half talking, half doing their work. So if you just like learn how to like focus yourself, like you'll get everything done faster and then you'll be done. And it's like not hard, like compared to high school.
Okay, this is my last question. I'd like a majority of you to respond affirmatively or negatively, and then just give me one reason why. So this is my favorite question to ask. Do you feel prepared for your college experience based on your experience at Mount Olive High School? Annalee, go ahead.
I think that if you take advantage of like the honors and AP classes, you'll honestly be really prepared, because like that, like especially if you take like A-Push and Euro, like just like the study habits and like what you learn from those classes, it'll teach you a lot and like help you be disciplined in college. So definitely take advantage of like especially like the honors English program, because you need to know how to write, and like that will really benefit you a lot.
Just hold up 1 second, please. Go ahead.
I definitely feel like Mount Olive has prepared me. A lot of things, there are like different parts of it. So one, like you were talking about, AP classes. You need to take not only the AP classes, you know, that are related to what you want to do, but take like history and English, because those are general education requirements that you don't have to take in college. Another thing, just the classes that specify on things. So I wanted to do engineering. I took intro to engineering. I took industrial design. I was in the Mate Underwater Robotics Club. All these things have made it so I took my first engineering class freshman year, and I sat around and everyone's like, oh wait, I don't know how to do this, and I had already learned it, you know, 2-3 years back. It really puts you ahead as long as you take advantage of the resources that they provide you here.
Excellent answer. Sharita?
I feel like Mount Olive prepares you for a lot just because you have so many opportunities, but like me personally, I never took a philosophy, politics, or law class in high school. So like going into that in college, like it was really hard because you're not used to it, but like taking science classes in high school made me realize I didn't want to do science, so like it helped me in that way. But don't be scared to take new classes in college, because it does, like, it's going to be hard at first, but you get used to it.
Great. Rish? You have your hand
I definitely, even though I'm a nursing major, what I found because of the class I took in high school, like I loved business and I did all the business classes. I was in DECA and everything like that. But I realized that I liked interacting with people, and that's the part of nursing that's probably my favorite, besides all of the science and everything that goes behind it. So I think definitely besides just taking AP classes and honors classes, which I did, but the business classes gives you like a further overview of like different parts of any job that you'll have, just basic like human interaction. So I think in that way the high school did prepare me for college.
Rish?
Yes, it prepares you because I think there are a lot of opportunities in high school for self-directed learning, and that's a lot of what college is, especially for your bigger classes. The professor is not going to know your name, and it's you have to read the textbook yourself, and it's a lot of learning yourself. And I know there are times when we complain in high school, like, oh, we didn't learn that, but in college you're going to have to know how to learn things yourself, and just use the teacher as a resource more than like.
Go ahead.
I'd say yes. In terms of academics, I felt prepared because the classes gave me like a good structure and like framework for what I needed to expand upon in my major and in my courses. But socially, you're gonna have to prepare yourself. Like, get yourself the social experience. Go out and be social, talk with your friends, spend time with them, meet new people. Like, when you go to college, it's like starting over again. I felt prepared socially, but like you have to discipline yourself in that. And it took me a while to get used to that, but the payout is immense.
I feel like academically it helped a lot because like just taking like a wide variety of classes helps you to like know the material so it's not a complete blind side. But I feel like something that like I wasn't prepared for and I don't really think you could be prepared for is the fact that like everyone said, like your professor doesn't know who you are. Like they're gonna give you a syllabus the first day of class with due dates and you're never gonna hear about them again until they're past due. So it's just a lot of discipline and like applying the study skills you learned in high school, but like making sure that you hold yourself accountable instead of other people holding you accountable.
Vin, last one.
Academically, yeah. High school prepared me extremely. Honestly, if I'm being real with you guys nice people, it looks like. My senior year of high school was harder academically than my freshman year, my first semester of college. Like I knew everything they were talking about. It's more like just getting accustomed to a different learning style. Like I knew, like the writing that we do in high school, like if you guys like actually like learn it and like you learn the curriculum, you learn how to write, like you don't know how far that will take you. I've read kids' papers in college and I questioned why they were here because they were just terrible. They were god awful. I even told my professor, I was like, you got to look at this kid because this kid is, I worry. But like it really helped me. Like the writing classes here, like I'm a good writer. My professor told me I'm a good writer, and not to brag, no, don't brag or anything. Mr. Cotter, it's not only the classes too. Like the debate club and all the clubs helped me with my class. I took microeconomics and I was in DECA. I mean, but I took debate club and I took principles of public policy and law and politics. I was just like I knew everything. I knew the academics. Like it's a different style of learning. Don't get me wrong. And you're gonna like before what everybody said. Like you're gonna have to discipline yourself and like you're gonna have to do the readings and you're gonna have to not procrastinate like Carl said. But like in terms of academics, this place is basically like a college.
All right. How about another round of applause for our class of 2018?
Wow.
We thank them. You can come up and say hello. But thank you very much for your attendance. Great advice. Thank you, class. Bye-bye now. Thank you.
I was scared of dentists and the dark. I was scared of